Morning. It's Monday morning. Let's go see what we can get into. So we want to pick up on this old Ford 4000 today. We left off on it last time getting that gas tank and the battery box and stuff set on there. So let's look at what we need to get assembled and put back on today. So we've got this old carburetor here, and I've got some kits that I had left over from some previous stuff where I was working on my own tractors. So try to get that carburetor reassembled. We need to get this oil bath breather box put back together and get it put back on there, so that breather box go right in here. Of course, those carb bolts on right there, and we need to get this filter and stuff, get this tied in here. If you remember, we was going to adjust this old alternator, and while I hadn't run those serial numbers on this old tractor from what I was looking at, I'm going to say this is about a 1963 model, and this would have had a generator originally, 6-volt positive ground. So all that's been updated and changed. We just need to adjust that forward a little bit. That belt, if you can get in there and get lined up on it, it's kind of back this way a little. We want to bring that up, just line that belt up just a little bit more. So just a couple of small things there. Also, if you remember, this old clutch shaft right here is bent, and this clutch pedal's up way too high. So probably just need to take that thing loose there. Take this pin off, get that whole thing out. We'll put it on the press over there and see if we can't straighten that out. And one more thing I think we was going to try to, I don't know if we'll address this or not. I need to kind of see what this is. I don't know what that is, but we may try to get that cleaned up and resolder that right there before we put that hood back on there. And this old hood, we need to take it out there and pressure wash it, get all that gunk cleaned up, and rewire these lights and get our wires back there, so that when we put the hood on, we'll remount this switch right here and then wire in them 2 lights. I've already rewired everything on the distributor and the coil and got all this stuff redone, and we'll clean this up a little bit. Also got a new temperature sending unit. We'll get that put on there. So let me back you up here and we'll jump right in here and get started on this thing. All right, let's see if we can figure out a little bit of what we need on this carburetor here. Thing been soaking in WD-40 for a while. Put it in the ultrasonic cleaner and cleaned it up. And then sprayed her down with the carb cleaner. I'll take that carb cleaner and knock a little bit of that WD off of it. Get her cleaned up. See if we can get that float set back in there. Get a reset. Oh, rust in that gas tank has just rusted up everything. Grab that little screwdriver there, want to push that up in there and clean that out. Let's roll this old tool bucket over here where we can reach it, in case we need something else, won't have to get up. It's looking pretty good. Do with the rest of this. We're not going to go real in depth on this. Just basically clean everything up, put a new gasket on this right here and reset our air fuel ratio and float setting. Make sure we got it right. Let's see what our air fuel is even sitting on right now. So we got a half, one, a half, 2, 2 3/4. That's pretty far out. Let's take that thing all the way out. Blow through that passage there and make sure we're good. It's got a little old seal right in there as well. Oh yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't have a manual for this tractor, but I've probably got one for my old tractor. They won't be a big difference in them, I don't think. I'm thinking that ought to be more like 1 1/2 out. All right, so we'll go a half, 1 1/2. And we'll see what happens when we crank her up. Clean her old float up. I may get my little roto zip thing and clean that up a little bit. It's got a little bit of rust right there that I really can't get to. See if I can't get that cleaned off of there. Alright, that's pretty much got the clean off section of it. So I may run down here and consult my owner's manual that I've got for my old tractor and check that float height, see what we need on that, kind of see what the fuel air ratio settings are, kind of standard on it. And we get it done there. Once we get the crunk up, we can kind of adjust it and get everything like it needs to be. So run down there and check some numbers, and I'll be back, and we'll get back on this. All right, we'll set you up there, and we'll see if we can put this carburetor back together here. Pretty much got everything cleaned up. Got the new gasket there. Already put my air mixture screw in there, set it to 1 turn out. Fuel mixture on the bottom, got it in there and got it set at 1 turn out. All right, then we go get the little fuel bulb. Then we'll see if we can hook that. I see you found them gloves. I was looking for there a while ago. I appreciate it. I don't need them right now, but I'm gonna put these on the welder so I'll know where they're at. So next time I ask you, tell me. Loosen that mount up right there a little bit. Tighten back up. Oh yeah, that's the ticket. Still good on that right there. So we'll slide our carb back up there. Let's see, let me hook the governor up. Hook choke up. Get my motor started. Come on, Bethel. Don't be hard to get along with. So let me get a line and a filter. I think we'll grab us a zip tie. I think that's going to be the ticket. Pour a little gas in there and see what it looks like. Well, she's leaking like I said. Good grief. Yeah, that didn't work. Our little O-ring thing in the bottom of that glass bowl. That's junk. Alright, let's see if we can start this thing up here. Pull the old choke in. Alright, let me bring in here and show you what we got. Alright, so obviously we got the carburetor back on there. Got that alternator adjusted up in place, got the battery hooked up, and I even got us a new temperature sensor put in up there. But we've got issues. This thing here leaked like a sieve, and I had to work on it about 3 or 4 times, and I finally got it where it ain't leaking. But you'll notice this clamp right here is loose. And the reason it is, bring you over here on this side and stick us a light up here. Right in there where that line comes into this pretty new pickup thing that I bought when I was working on this tractor originally, it was leaking. So I stuck a wrench in there, went to tighten her up, and she stripped. So got another one ordered. It's going to be a couple of days to get here. And so I'll replace that thing. So went ahead and put that new sensor in there. And so I'm going to need to run this a little bit and make sure that this doesn't leak right here. So far so good anyway. And our light switch up here didn't work. I took it apart and cleaned up the inside of it, put it back together, and it works if you just hold it just right. So ordered one of them as well. Gonna have to replace that. So Still got to get the clutch linkage thing over there fixed. So I may hold off on putting the hood on there, and you can see, pull my wife's truck in here. I'm gonna have to do some service on it, change oil, and replace some brakes on it. So I'll be back. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I hate that for you, Dave. But I'm kind of glad, because I was starting to think everything you did worked all the time. No. You know what they say, when somebody gives you lemonade, make lemons out of it, right? Sometimes it just goes belly up. You just don't get to see all the stuff I struggle with. I just edited all of it out. All right, we'll be back when we got more. All right, so we're back on the front of this old tractor here, and I'm looking at this radiator, and I'm thinking, my rule usually is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And as far as I know, this thing wasn't running hot and wasn't leaking. But on the other side of that, we've been working on some stuff that wasn't necessarily broke, but we're fixing it anyway. Like that clutch pedal we're going to dress back there here just in a few minutes. So I'm thinking, while I got this hood off, and just because it may come back and bite me in the butt if I don't go ahead and fix this, and we get the hood on it and we try to go bush hog with it or something, and it starts running hot or it starts leaking, then I got to take the hood back off. So while I got the hood off and Wardy here, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab my drill and my wire brush, go ahead and clean this junk off of here, and see what's there, and get the solder over here and see if we can't fix it. So let me grab the brush here. So anyway, if you can see right down through there, that crack down at the bottom of that seam. So I've took my brush and cleaned that out as best I could. So we're gonna heat that up good. And got my flux over here. We'll put that flux down in that groove there. Then we'll take our solder. We'll solder up that whole thing. And then I might try to crimp that back on there, I don't know. Looking at it, she's been pretty warm. This front part right here is kind of swelled out a little bit. And I took that radiator cap off because I want this to be able to vent while I'm heating that up. And it may take a minute to get the steam out of it and get that dried out enough that we can get the flux and get our solder on there. If it's dry, it works real good. A little bit wet and you have issues. But anyway, while I took that cap off, the light was shining in there just right. And I saw this deal laying down there in the radiator. So that's the bottom of a radiator cap that has went belly up and come off at some point. So took my little magnetic thing and drug that out. So let me get you set up here and we'll see if we can't get this thing fixed. First order of business, I heat this stuff up. But you know, that's the gas tank right there. You always want to have this as close as you can to the gas, right? It won't take but a second for that to cool off. I'm gonna amp it out a little bit. Right here. Just a little soapy water on that thing. Pressurize that tank just a little bit. And see if we get any bubbles out of it. Try not to get too carried away with the air pressure. I didn't see no bubbles at all. What the fella needs is one of them little cap things to put on there and pump it up where it holds the pressure. Kind of see what you got. But I ain't got one of them. I believe we're going to call that good for the time being. So probably what we need to do, see if I got some antifreeze here. It's that universal stuff supposed to mix with anything. Oh yeah. Alright, so I rigged me up a temporary fuel line here. Because we had issues with that fuel line leaking over there. And just wanted to crank it, let it run a little bit, get that temperature up, make sure we didn't have any leaks on that fuel temperature sending unit we put on there, and also on the radiator up there that we fixed. So, they're running pretty good. Temperature gauge ain't moved at all yet. But it ain't been running long. Yeah, it's getting heated up a bit. So, I'll get back with you here in a minute. Let this thing run for a minute. Alright, so the mail just run, so now I'm out of excuses. Got the new light switch, got the new fuel petcock, got the new sediment bowl, got oil filter and oil. So let me get you set up over here. I guess the first thing that we need to do is pull this old oil filter off of here and make sure we've got the right oil filter before we go any further. If I don't have the right oil filter, I may just screw that back on there, just top off whatever oil we need, and go ahead and work on the fuel and get this thing where we can run it a little bit. So I'll be back. I'll get you set up and I'll be back in a second. All right, I got my oil pan set down there, and let's see if we can hop over here and take this old filter off. Looks like it's been on there for a minute. Easy. That's some rough looking stuff. See if we can tell what this says. MGL 51.5. I'll tell what that is. This is maximum efficiency, maximum protection, micro guard. I've got a clue what that is. We grab our new one. So I don't know if I should just tell you this right up front before we even test this, but what I did is I ordered a small block Ford filter, FL1A, which is the Ford filter for almost everything Ford. I'm figuring this is a Ford tractor, about a 63 model, so I think them 289s in early 60s was that FL1A filter. So I know my old Massey Ferguson tractor, actually that FL1A will fit it. So a lot of filters are interchangeable or universal. You just don't always know what they are unless you're in the business of changing oil, and then you figure it out pretty quick, but they're a bunch of them interchangeable. Yeah, that one will be on there for a minute. So before I do anything, let me just see if it'll fit the thread there. Yep. Well, I'm gonna do this too. Grab my tape measure. I'll back you up there where you can see what's going on, and we'll measure this sealing area here as well. Find the tape measure. I think that's just about gonna be standard. Alright, so looks like it is outside to outside on the center is 1, 2, and roughly 7/8. That's it, dead on. So that's gonna work. So let me grab some oil. We got the Shell Rotella T4. I'm gonna pour this. So Wakefield, that thing screws on there sideways. You ain't gonna be able to do that. Well, I'll show you something here. Fill it all the way up. And let it sit there for a minute. And it will soak down into that filter media. Excuse me. We may lose a little bit. The longer you sit there, the more it seeps down. And that just gets some in the filter. It won't be full for startup, but it'll be closer than what it was without any, right? Alright, so if you've got a Ford 4000, I went on there and looked to see. I wasn't sure what the filters were, and so they're like offering some different stuff. Let's see, we go about half turn, call that good. Anyway, I want to say them filters, I'll go back and double check it. I want to say them filters was like between $25 and $30. So this FL1A is like $9, you know what I mean? So that's the ticket. All right, let me lower you all the way down. Let me get you down here underneath. Sorry about that, jiggling you around everywhere. You see that plug right there? Yep. All right. Get my big pipe wrench and we'll knock that thing off there. Not pipe wrench, crescent wrench. Get this out of there. Hang on, be right back. This ain't the biggest one I got, but it's gonna be big enough, I think. I noticed that thing was leaking oil like crazy when letting it run there a while ago. Oh, this gonna be get oil bath right here if we ain't careful. Oh, it didn't do too bad on that. We can, you see that? Looks like grease. The oil's thick. Yeah, we'll clean that up. Get some new oil in there. Goodness gracious. That thing's supposed to hold 6 quarts of oil. I don't know where it's at because it ain't but about, I'm gonna say 2.5 quarts in that pan right there. And the dipstick was showing that it was pretty full. I don't know if somebody's put the wrong dipstick in it. Some dipstick put the wrong dipstick in. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that thing was way past oil change time. I'm thinking I've got some used motor oil over here. Maybe that oil would just drained out of that Nissan. I might pour that back down through the thing just to wrench some of that junk out of there. Because that looks horrible. Step over and get my little screwdriver. that I use all the time. And I might just get it right here. Just roll up the end of that. A little screwdriver's good for getting in crevasses and getting stuff out. The oil pan got a big old dent in the bottom of it too, which I ain't gonna worry about that. CAL 9N6737A3. So what does that mean? I ain't got a clue. Alright, let me turn you off for here for a second. And so I may turn you off here for a second and pour some used oil through that just to flush that out because there's so much garbage in the bottom of that. And then we'll get the new oil and stuff. I'll bring you back here before we get too far along. Alright, so come over here. You guys see this. So I know the old tractor been sitting for a long time up there. When I first went up there to get it started. And I don't know how long he's had the old tractor. I kind of believe when he traded or bought it, and I'll just have to ask him, I really hadn't talked to him a whole lot about it because he's got two other tractors and an old big Massey Ferguson that he uses all the time. And I think this one is just pretty much set over there. Anyway, this oil cap right here, like, can you see down in that thing? I had to take my big crescent wrench and put under that and hit it with the hammer to get this cap off right here. So it ain't supposed to look like that either. It was so hard to get off that I thought it ain't just popping off, which is what it's supposed to do. So really, stick this back together. It's supposed to have that little old breather deal in there. Get it back in there with one hand. This cap right here sits on the top of it. Right there. So that's what it sat on there. I couldn't get it off. So I took that little nut off there and pulled that top off of it, and I'm like, it just sits down in there. It's got to just pop out. You know, took a hammer and a big crescent wrench to get it out. So now I'm gonna have to clean up down in that hole there because it's got that old grimy. Anyway, I'm gonna clean that out as best I can, and then I'm gonna pour some old oil through it and flush this thing out. Clean that up. I might spray some brake clean or carb clean or something down that hole right there. That should just go straight down to the oil pan right there. And we'll wash that out and clean it out as good as we can, and then put some good oil in it. So I'll bring you back here in a minute. Probably gonna close this video out right here. Got a few more things that I did that you won't see on this video. So come back on the next one. Hopefully we'll get this thing knocked out. I've got that clutch pedal off there and got the rod straightened up. Went a little further on this oil change, and you'll see the mess that I got into on getting that oil pan cleaned out on the next one. So we'll try to get this project wrapped up on the next one, maybe get the tractor put back together and get on that bush hog and get it welded up. And then we'll try to move on to something else, but hope you've enjoyed the video. May try to throw a few pictures in here of a car show that we went to the other day, fall festival time, and took Janie's little old car, cleaned it up, took it over there, entered it in a car show, and she was able to get a trophy. She sure was happy about it. So she may or may not have done a little campaigning for points on it, but whatever. She got in the top 5, just small, like 15 cars. There's some good looking cars there though. So we'll put that in there, maybe a few outtakes here at the end. Appreciate you hanging out with me, and like, subscribe, comment, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one. So we got Shadow back up here in the shop. He wants to be a part of the conversation. Try a different approach. Spam calling. Hey guys, I think we're going to go ahead and close out. See what's going on. He always wants to be a part of the conversation, so we'll put that in there. Appreciate you watching.